Good evening and welcome to the Thai PBS World. In Hong Kong, the national security law approved by Chinese government came into effect on Wednesday. It was the day that was the anniversary that the former British colony handed over to China in 1997. And what's the sentiment among Hong Kongers, especially those who are not quite happy with the national security law, especially Hong Kong protesters? In the Thai PBS World tonight, Khun Thep Chayong and Khun Nat Bunak talk to Emily Lau, former lawmaker and a political activist in Hong Kong.
Tell us what it's like in Hong Kong at the moment, Emily.
It is quite tense because some people fear that they will lose their freedom of expression, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, academic freedom, religious freedom, all the things to do with, expression. And also some fear that they could be arrested. And as you know, in the last few days, several hundred of people have been arrested, and some have already been charged with this new law. So there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of concern. And some people want to leave.
But the Chinese government sees this gesture by the UK and Australia as an interference in China's internal affairs.
Yes. And they say it is not Britain's business. But of course it is Britain's business. Britain has run Hong Kong for 1.5 centuries. And then in 1997, we were handed over to Chinese rule. In 1984, I was a journalist. I was at a press conference of Mrs. Margaret Thatcher, then the Prime Minister. She had just signed the joint declaration with China. And I said, Prime Minister, 2 days ago, you signed an agreement with China, promising to deliver over 5 million people into the hands of a communist dictatorship. Is that morally defensible? Or is it true that in international politics, the highest form of morality is one's own national interest? And she said, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy with the agreement. And I may be a solitary exception. Now, of course, Mrs. Thatcher is no longer around, but I'm still here. And everybody say, hey, Emily Lau was right 36 years ago. And I think the British government and many of the people understand this, that they have a moral responsibility for the people. And in fact, it's just an offer. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. Nobody's forcing you to take it. They're just saying that some people are so frightened. So Britain will say, we open the door for you. If you are so frightened in Hong Kong.
For you yourself, how have you been affected by this law?
Well,
Do you have to be more careful from now on in expressing your views?
I don't know. I'm still talking to you. Every time I talk to some foreign journalists in the past 2 days, they always think that would be the last time I'm talking because it is not just coming out of nowhere, because they see the fate of dissidents in mainland China. And they fear that would happen to Hong Kong people. So if that's the case, they fear that people like me or others could be arrested and charged and sent to prison very soon. I certainly hope it won't happen. But I still want to speak for the Hong Kong people, not all of them. Of course, there are those who disagree with me. If you live in a free society, people are free to disagree. But somehow, when people look at the fate of dissidents in mainland China, they fear that the same will happen to the people of Hong Kong. And that's why some said I should not be talking to anyone if I shut up. If I conduct self-censorship, maybe I can live in peace, maybe not. But if I keep speaking out, now I'm talking to Bangkok, to Thailand, and then later I talk to the Liberal International. But why should I shut up?
So does it mean that we will not be seeing a repeat of the demonstrations that Hong Kong has seen in the past, right?
I don't know. I mean, we were supposed to have a demonstration on July 1st, And every year since 1997, we were allowed, we got permission to have huge demonstrations, sometimes up to 1 million people. But this year, on July 1st, we were not given the permission. Why? They say it's COVID-19. But if you come to the streets of Hong Kong, everywhere there are people. So it seems that the administration of Carrie Lam is using the virus as an excuse to ban public gathering. And today, she made another decision that this ban to a maximum of only 50 people will continue for 2 more weeks. I think I am right to say that once this ban is lifted, the whole world will again see hundreds of thousands of people marching, gathering peacefully, in a peaceful and non-violent way. But we need to have the ban lifted, because if it's not, it's illegal assembly. And many Hong Kong people will not want to take part. Under British rule and under Chinese rule, for many years, we enjoy freedoms. We enjoy human rights and personal safety. No knock on the door at midnight, no police surveillance and all that. But now it seems it's all disappearing before our very eyes.
Emily, besides talking to the media as you are doing tonight, is there any other course of action that you can take to let the world know what is actually going on in Hong Kong?
Well, I think speaking to the media is a very powerful medium. And also because of the lockdown, we cannot go anywhere anyway. And also because there is an offense under the national security law about collusion with foreign forces. I don't know whether they will describe me talking to you now as collusion. So, there are all these risks. So we do what we can. Not that I'm doing it sort of deliberately to break the law, but I think that under the law or not, these are basic freedoms that I should enjoy. And I have been doing it for many years. So as some people say, why change a habit of a lifetime? But maybe if I continue, then I won't be able to speak to you again or whatever. I don't know. That is the thing that is hanging over people's head, the uncertainty. When is it that you have overstepped the mark and that the police will come and arrest you? Or even worse, it's not the police, it's the Chinese national security who are not subject to Hong Kong law. They can come and arrest Hong Kong people and then take them to mainland China to deal with them there. And then all the protection, the so-called protection we get under the Hong Kong legal system will all disappear. And I just hope that the Hong Kong government, the Chinese government will not be so harsh on Hong Kong and will allow the people of Hong Kong, including myself. So I hope that, we don't have that. But I'm not saying that I support independence. No, I've never supported independence. And I think many Hong Kong people do not. But they just want the Chinese government to keep the promise of the Sino-British Joint Declaration. And that is to let us have one country, two systems, a separate system from the rest of China, and where we can be free, we can have personal safety, the rule of law, and not forever. It's only for 50 years, from 1997 to 2047. But now it's only 2020, not even halfway there. And people are so disturbed and worried already. So it is very sad.
And so far, more than 700 protesters have been arrested since the national security law is in place. And that's all from the Thai PBS World tonight. Thank you very much for watching.